Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers. I'm in a weird trans-dimensional space, aka my living room, while I reset up my office. So
I thought you were in that movie Backrooms that I'm hearing so much about. So,
oh yeah, there we go. I like it.
yeah.
I like it.
A liminal space. A liminal space. I keep hearing liminal space, and I'm reading it a lot, and I realize that's an AI trigger thing. That must be something that's in like every AI trigger.
That might be the case. I mean, who knows if that's a trigger word for the AI?
Oh, okay, maybe. I just think it's something that they use a lot. So,
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Speaking of AI,
were we? Were we speaking?
Yeah,
of AI?
I don't know. It's just I would have to do a small rant. I got invited to a Bigfoot conference.
Yeah.
That used AI in their promotion, like an AI logo, AI image, AI images of all the speakers. And these were the same people protesting an AI data center being built near them because it would hurt the Bigfoot habitat near them. So just saying, if you're going to protest it, don't freaking use it, period.
Yeah, no, okay. I don't even want to go down that whole path.
Yeah.
I have many things that I could say about that, but instead, I'm just going to say that I'm excited to do a Listener Tales episode with you.
Exactly. I need something to turn that around. And we've got, again, you guys just keep flooding the inbox. I'm so happy with that. I did have a couple requests for us to do like a call-in show sometime. I'm just afraid we'd have to schedule that like a month out to make sure everybody calls at once. But I also know a lot of our emails are people who don't want to be recognized or something like that. So I don't know if that would go. You guys tell us in the comments or email us and let us know if this would be a thing you would want to see and if you would participate. So
yeah, I mean, not just see, but participate, because I mean, we could just watch ourselves sit there like this.
Yep.
For a while.
I remember the Alec Baldwin radio show that showed he had no talent for radio because he just sat there and nobody called. And so he didn't know what to do for 2 hours. It was pretty terrible.
Oh my God, that's kind of funny. Now he'd get a hate mail things.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was back in the day. Yeah. And he was still king back then. So it was crazy. Yeah. But anyway,
okay.
You guys sent us a ton. So we are going to try to get through them again, because I love these. These are sent to us by listeners, by travelers. They are, we edit them minimally just in case, but we really kind of just leave them, read them live here with minimal perusal. So
we are not responsible for what has been typed to us.
And we are not going to, we take it as it is. This is people telling us their experiences. So. All right. You want to start?
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm starting. Okay, that's good. I also was quitting Discord because I realized I left it on. We're a very professional show here, so let me get this going. Okay.
All right.
Hi, Erika. Okay. Hi, Bo. Well, hello.
Oh, nice. Hi.
It's me again. Well, that's mildly terrifying, but okay. It's me again. So a while back, my sister was staying at my grandparents' house. And this one bedroom, I'm actually going to be spending the entire summer there, but there's a ghost in there. Why would you go spend the entire summer? Okay, continuing. Because my grandmother, whenever she goes in there, she smells perfume. Well, I think it's two ghosts. And when my sister was in there and sleeping, it felt like something on her arm. All of her limbs were being pulled, like not off the bed, but like off of her. Okay, again, why would you stay there? I seem to have, my camera seems to have disappeared momentarily, but why would you stay in a place that has that situation? I just don't understand it. Anyway, okay, continuing on. Well, I figure out what's wrong with my camera. It went dark because of the ghosts.
It's a good thing it's an audio podcast.
So. Well, we do post these videos, Mark.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So here we go. So all of her limbs were being pulled, like not off the bed, but off of her. So she turned on the TV and she could see something sitting at the foot of the bed. Now she's traumatized. We're going to say, but it's kind of freaky. If you have any tips other than smudging sage everywhere, I don't know about getting a priest to bless it because I don't know if my grandparents will let it happen or the community. I'm kind of caught in a 55 and up community, even though there are kids that live on the same cul-de-sac as us. But Mark, contact me if you have any questions. Thank you. Also, we think that it's my wife's room because an old couple used to live in there. So we think there's a wife's room because old couples used to not live in the same room and the husband wants to protect it. Also, please read my other one. Also, there's a lot of alsos here, my friend. A series of unfortunate events happened recently. First, my dad was arrested, and then I encountered that I had seizures and just a series of unfortunate events. Things are getting better. I'm just going to have to move since we don't have enough income. Anonymous. Well, Anonymous, Mark, what do you have to say while I try to figure out what happened to my camera?
Well, I messaged them back and just said, hey, there are some options. Again, intention. Let them know that this is your space, not their space anymore. I also mentioned that you don't have to move. There are possibilities. We'd love to get a team in there. I think you guys are working on scheduling for that. I hope to hear back from that soon. And then I'm so sorry about your incidents. As someone who has epilepsy, seizures are terrible and not fun. And I'm sorry your dad had other issues. So and things are getting better. I'm glad to hear. So yeah, just keep on getting better. I think there's a little scary there with the things affecting you physically and your sister physically. That's a bit much. So yeah, there's definitely something going on there that should be addressed. And
so
you don't want any
my recommendation is to just go in there and tell them to leave.
Yeah.
That they're not welcome there. And that if they continue to be in there, you'll put them in a jar and just bring a mason jar and set it down in there and just say, unless you want to end up in this jar, you will leave us alone. And be very emphatic and sure of yourself in that. Because Mark always says intention. I think a team in there would be helpful too. But telling it what you're going to do leads to a whole different level. And because I thought that, my camera turned back on. So with that said, Anonymous, we're sorry you're going through that. Absolutely. But remember, you're more powerful than it is.
Yeah. And keep us posted. Posted.
Please.
All right. So this one was from our Discord. So all you have to do to join our Discord is $1 in our Patreon. So just plug in that. So anyway, hi, I'm new to this group. I recently joined because I need answers. My land borders a 280,000 acre military base in South Georgia, and there's a 200-acre pond a mile away into the base. I'm 50 and have been in the woods all my life, and I hear coyotes all the time, even bobcats and owls on a regular basis. 2 years ago, I heard something I can't explain, and I can't get it off my mind. Keep in mind, I've never seen anything, but what I heard that night had my three grown pits whining and scared just like me. This past January, I went into the woods to check a coon trap, and the trap was empty, but the end of it was ripped open. This is almost impossible to do, and if you know anything about traps, you'll understand what I am saying. Is it possible that what I heard that I can't explain could have ripped open my trap? Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing I think about traps. This is my theory about traps, regardless of what kind of creature this is, right? Is you having a trap with something caught in it pretty much is dinner for something else. I mean, it doesn't have to put a lot of work. It's like the whole thing about dogmen getting deer and stuff to go into the road so a truck will hit it so they don't have to spend a lot of effort. I'm a firm believer that even a bear could rip open one of those cages if it wanted to. So, yeah. That is my theory. Mark?
Yeah, no, I think something was in your trap, something got out. You'd be surprised. It is difficult. The reason they're bear traps is they're very tricky to get out of, and coon traps are very ingenious to get out of. But something can rip it open. A bear, many things can rip open a coon trap to get into the animals inside it. I'm sure you're aware, Adam, but it is unusual. It is unusual. Something might have gotten caught in there, and a bear said, "Hey, look, lunch." But the sound you heard, I'd be curious to know what it sounded like. There's not much description. And a lot of things that have 3 grown pit bulls whining, that's a scary thing. That's a scary thought. So, I think your area should be looked into. I would love, again, let's send some of
it
North,
sounds
South
like he
Georgia.
lives right next to a military base, Mark, so I don't know how much looking can occur. But whatever this is, Adam, and it could be something preternatural completely, it doesn't sound like it's trying to harm you. It sounds like it's like, hey, I'm here, listen to me. And, you could always try the peanut butter trick if you want to. So,
always a classic. Always a classic.
We enjoy the peanut butter trick. If you want to tell Mark where it is, he will send a team to go look where they're legally allowed to go look, because we do not want them incarcerated.
Far from Connor Flynn, Stacey Brown area. They live Panhandle, Florida, which is South Georgia. So
Yep. And he would like to bring his sparkly butt right on up there to check it out. So here we go.
All right.
Oh, well, thank you, Adam. I forgot to say that. Okay. 2 Mandela effects for me. Oh, I love a good Mandela effect. Okay. As a history teacher, I remember reading about the mafia leader Al Capone, caught on tax evasion charges, put in Alcatraz, and died of syphilis. I think a lot of people don't realize how devastating syphilis can be if you do not catch it. It puts holes in your brain. It's not a pleasant experience.
And it really wasn't really treatable that well until after World War II.
Yeah, no, totally. That's why it was kind of dangerous and people could carry. Anyway, that's a whole other episode. Okay. Yep. Pretty specific and shockingly memorable. This timeline, he got out of jail and died at home with his wife. What?
Yeah, I remember that. He still died of syphilis, but it was at home. And it was years later. He served his time and got out of jail.
I thought he died in... Okay, never mind.
I know. I can see that one. I can see that one.
Yeah. Okay, another. I remember watching interest stories about famous pilot Charles Lindbergh, 1932, and their kidnapped baby boy. Yeah, no, the Lindbergh baby. That was a huge thing. Yeah. Never found the baby or who did it or why. It always bothered me. I watched more than one show about it. This timeline, mystery solved. They found the boy's body about 4 miles away, caught the guy, and he was executed. Kim. No, I don't remember them ever finding the baby.
I agree. I'm in the same boat. I didn't remember, but yeah. I do vaguely recall that they executed a guy, but I wasn't sure he was the right guy. I thought maybe they grabbed a scapegoat.
I'm now going to use Google.
Yeah, hit the mighty search engines and see what we can find. But yeah, that's a new one on me. I do recall him being home and died of syphilis at home because writing the Florida books, I remember he spent some time in South Florida, and so that was where he retired to after he got out of jail. So I do remember that about Al Capone.
Oh my goodness. No, it does. It says that it was a gentleman, ransom note, kidnapped was left behind a crudely constructed wooden ladder to reach the window. The ransom note demanded $50,000. Despite the intense negotiating, the payment of the ransom via go-betweens, the child was never returned. 2 months later, on May 12th, the toddler's partially decomposed body was found on the side of a nearby road. And the person who was hanged, Hauptmann. So it was a person named Hauptmann.
A German immigrant, I recall.
Bruno Richard Hauptmann, a German immigrant and carpenter living in the Bronx.
Yeah, some people said that he was set up. So I
Yeah,
remember
his home contained 13 grand of the ransom money
Mhm.
and the handwriting analysis. Here's the thing. I do not remember him ever. Okay, this is so weird. This is back to Dolly and all that other stuff because
Dolly
I
and
do not
Blakely.
remember the person being caught. Okay,
Okay.
Kimmy, you have messed with my mind for the evening. That's
Yep.
craziness.
Yep. Agreed, Kimmy. I think that's a good one. I think you found a new Mandela.
You did. 2 new Mandelas.
Ugh.
Okay. Thank you, Kimmy.
Thank you,
Stop
Kimmy.
messing with me on the ride in, so to speak.
All right. So I sent this in to ask you if you have any idea what we saw could be. Me and my boyfriend were driving in northern Colorado at night and missed our exit. And Google Maps rerouted us to take a dirt road for almost 6 miles. Ooh, I've been there, done that. We decided to go
that on purpose, so that's all I'm
I
gonna
did
say.
not. I did not. It took
Right.
me Turkey Gap Road in Virginia. Don't ever go down it. It's an ATV trail, not a road. All right, so we decided to go for it, and a little over halfway through, we saw something walking on the side of the road. It looked most like an elk to me, but I was driving and only got a glimpse of antlers and maybe lighter fur at the rear. It stopped and stared at us as we drove past from what I could see in my mirrors. It was hard to see with so little light. It was very thin. It was like skeletal almost. Writing it out seems pretty silly, but it had really bad vibes. I said it was an elk, and my boyfriend was very insistent that it was not. We didn't talk about it more until we got home. He said it was moving in a crawling motion. And when I pulled up a photo of an elk, he was very certain that's not what it looked like. He describes it as almost triangular with front legs longer than the back, disproportionate. I think it could be an elk with CWD, critical wasting disease. Yeah. But I thought I'd ask in case it matches, and I thought I'd ask in case it matches any cryptid or creatures. I'm not sure how much I believe in those, but I figured if nothing else, it could be fun to see what it might have been. And it really did have awful vibes. Michelle.
Not deer.
Not deer.
Not
I
deer.
knew you were going to go there. Knew you were going to go there.
Not deer. Well, obviously the wasting disease can be something, and there are mutations out there. But what's always interesting to me is the bad vibe situation.
Mhm.
Like, as much as I'd like to judge, like, it's this creature or that creature, bad vibes generally only come from predatory creatures. Like, something in the back of your brain knows that there's a survival situation versus a passive creature. Like, you don't go into survival mode generally around a groundhog, for instance,
Yeah.
right? But it doesn't sound like it was walking on 2 legs, which
yeah, crawling and skeletal makes me think sick animal, to be honest.
yeah.
So I'm not sure you saw a cryptid. Not saying you didn't, but I'm just saying that seems more likely. And if
It's weird though, it was walking alongside of the road at night.
well, following a trail, if it's sick, it's not trying to crawl through brush and stuff like that as much. So
It could have been something, you never know.
yeah, again, never know. Thanks for
natural.
reporting it. I'd like to know exactly where it was and what day, so we can see if maybe there's a sick animal out there that needs some help, or if there's something weird tied to that area. So
you know what Mark's theory is, very much like a horror movie, send in more people after it. That is a great plan. And that is why he's a horror movie god, because he is willing to sacrifice his friends.
That's why we love Train to Busan. All right. So
okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That was a great story. And hopefully, I think you did the right thing by reporting it.
Yep. We appreciate it. And I know Mark has already plugged it into the websites to see if anybody else has things, but creepy and don't go on.
I know exactly where it would help and exactly what day it would help. And also,
the other thing I would say is with everything happening, you could have slipped 10 temporarily slip dimensions too. I mean, that's a possibility. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying weird things where you saw something that's normal somewhere else, you know?
Yeah, could be. That's what the Mist movie was about. So
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Aliens. Okay, here we go. Mark.
Hey.
Okay. I live in Ohio and there's not much to do. And me and my friend, who I'm going to call Lucy for this story, were told about haunted civil. Oh my goodness. Why am I even reading this? This is totally a Mark thing. Okay. Me and my friend, who I'm going to call Lucy for this story, were told about a haunted Civil War burial site by my dad, who doesn't believe in anything supernatural. So obviously it piqued our interest. We waited until night to go. When we got there, we found multiple paths leading deeper into the woods by the cemetery. Upon entering a narrow path at the back of the cemetery, we found nothing at first until about 10 minutes in, where me and my friend both stopped. We were 5 feet away. There was what seemed to be crawling, an anorexic, pale-looking man crawling at us. I immediately grabbed Lucy and started pulling them back while keeping the shitty flashlight we pointed in its direction. But once we got about 20 feet back, it seemed to dissipate into the darkness. But we could still hear what I assumed it was following us in the foliage. Once we got off the path, Lucy said they had seen a hand of it reaching for my leg before they bumped into me to move without freaking me out. More stupidly, I can already tell Erika has many things to say about this story. More stupidly, we decided to go down another path. What is wrong with you guys? Like, nope. Are you out of your minds? Okay. So stupidly, we decided to walk down another path after saying that this one was closer to the entrance of the cemetery, which was substantially wider than the other, which gave us a false sense of security this time. Only upon walking up the initial hill and turning, we both seen what looked like a 15-foot tall, once again, anorexic human thing with sunken eyes and a mouth agape. We obviously started backing away fast, but still not running. Why aren't you running? What is wrong with everyone? Trip your friend, Lucy, and run. Okay. I still don't know why we didn't just run after seeing it. Neither do I. But once almost off the path, we couldn't see anymore. Lucy stopped, grabbed me, trying to get me to look behind us. And by the time they got my attention, it was gone again. What they said they seen was the same. Most of the way up the tree, its fingers dug in, watching me once out of the path. I looked back way up the tree I looked back and seen a pair of large black eyes with white pupils staring at me from the tree deep in the woods before disappearing. During the drive, Lucy said they'd seen a smaller one in the field running, and we'd both seen the same tall white figure standing about a football field away on the other side of a crossroads. I'm going back next week and we'll update you if we find anything else. We would love that you could help us figure out what it is. MC. Okay. MC. What is wrong with you? Seriously.
I could see that coming on your face.
What the heck is wrong with you? No, do not go back there. If you want to have an investigative team go out and see what it is, sounds like a rake. Do not go back there.
Yeah, the creepypasta rake. I've heard more cryptid researchers start to call them crawlers. That seems to be the more preferred term because rake is basically creepypasta.
Well, crawlers then. Don't go. Whatever they are. No, don't do. Well, it was nice having you write us the one time you could because you're going to disappear. So,
yeah. No, I mean, seeing one small and then seeing a bigger one, could it be that it was the same one that got bigger or that you were seeing it differently? It could be very
maybe it was
scary.
trying to scare them more. Maybe it's a fear monger trying
That's
to just
hit them where they're afraid, hit them where they're scared. Exactly. Build up those primal fears.
Yeah. Because
yeah,
it sounds like it, but MC, dude, or dudette, or non-binary human, don't go back there without a proper team. This is a terrible idea.
Definitely.
Whatever it is does not sound pleasant.
Yeah, and exactly. Never go alone, as we've just said 100 times.
And it
never
seems
go
like
alone.
Lucy could see it more than you could. So that's, oh my God, so many reasons. Oh.
And again, far off the beaten path, could be somebody living out there that doesn't want to be found and would look weird in the dark, especially if you have a shitty flashlight.
Yeah, so, a better flashlight at least.
A better flashlight. Bring some mace or bear spray. It's always a good thing. And just take care of yourself. Be careful. And let me know where that cemetery is. Ohio cemeteries with haunted graveyards. That's my jam. So.
Oh, yes, especially Civil War ones. Let's go get Mark lost too, because that's a great plan.
All right, MC. All right, thank you again. So let's do one more and then we'll take the break. Sound good?
Yep, sounds great.
All right. So I know there are ghosts. That's a good way to start it. Thank you all for letting others know too.
Oh, you're welcome. And maybe if you're like MC, you're just going to run after them.
Yeah. I live in a house built in the 1800s. It survived 2 world wars and it's seen some shit, I imagine. One of the previous owners had 2 sons who both committed suicide. Oh, well, that took.
Well, that sounds like a delightful vortex of hell. Anyway.
Yeah. So a lot of strange stuff happens. The animals, dogs and parrots, will wake up from their naps and follow something with their heads, just as though they would follow me as I walk around. Also, before I switched rooms in the house, my brother had a room and he refused to sleep there as he would hear voices. He slept with my parents, he was a child, until the day he got my old room, and since then he has slept in that room without problems. There's also a whole floor we don't use, and I sleep in the attic. And I pass through that floor to get to my attic. Weird explanation, but it's a weird house. And I have a motion-activated light there that goes on sometimes as I'm walking the stairs to that unused floor. It would also switch on in the middle of the night when nobody is walking under the motion detector. Also, there are cold spots. Recently, it has gotten weirder, with strange shadows where no light should be. I've also started noticing things moving around without anybody in the room. Things in new places than where they were when they were left. Nothing crazy like in the movies, but it keeps me on my toes. Thought you all might like to know about this stuff and to share it on your show, Carl.
Well, Carl, before we go to the break, I believe Mark can tell you what I'm going to say about this particular domicile.
Erika will say, nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Exactly. And on that note, let's have a word from our sponsors.
Before that, I just want to say real quick, you've got stuff to be investigated. Thanks for reporting it. And with that, we'll take a word from our sponsor because I have to get the last word, right, Erika? We're back.
Oh, yes, we are. Okay, here we go.
All right.
I want to tell you a crazy friend story about me and my roommates in 2017.
I think that's his crazy fried story.
Fried story?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
I like a crazy fried story. Casey fried story.
I'm down for whatever is about to happen.
Yep.
We'll see, I think. There were 3 of us living together all around the ages of 21. Oh, chug, 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 shot, shot, shot. No,
yeah.
It was somewhat of a party house.
You called it. You called it.
It was not infrequent to open the door to total strangers looking for me and my roommates, as we were all similar but different friend groups. this particular day, we all decided to go for a hike, and we took a few beers and joints for a small walking picnic, and we stayed way too late out there. We live next to a military base, and connected to part of the base is a wildlife refuge, and it's pretty vast. The daytime hours are posted because the military does operations past night sometimes. Anyways, we're stumbling through the dark to get to the car and see this bright green, almost comet-like object light up in the sky, fly overhead. Then it stopped, changed directions, and flew back where it came. Motionless, we all stood there in shock until the sound of keys fumbling against the door snapped me out of it, and my friends nervously piled in the car. We didn't talk about it the whole ride home. Days later, one of my roommates suggested we get stoned and play music because it was raining pretty hard and had nothing to do. This was during the Mac DeMarco era, with a lot of people had rediscovered synths, so we were into making some pretty weird music. I'm not a musician, so I thought I was making music, but I was probably stoned and beating the drums while my friend did his thing. The sound that came from our house probably sounded like something out of the Steve Miller Band's Fly Like an Eagle outro, or Pink Floyd's Any Color You Like. We were very into that kind of sound. Suddenly, somebody was beating on the door, and I mean beating it down with intensity. Anxiety of the copious amounts of weed we had been smoking set in, and we literally army crawled into the living room, looking through the large window of our living room to see two people standing there dressed in black, except for a yellow shirt under their jacket. I collected myself mentally and physically off the floor and opened the door. Off the floor. I love it. The man was about 6'5" and the woman 5 foot, standing in front of me. He was black, skinny, and had long, neat dreads, wore sunglasses, black boots, black cargo pants, and a black shirt tucked into a full tactical belt, and a long black leather trench coat. So he's from the Matrix, basically, is what you're telling me.
Sounds like.
Yeah. She wore the exact same thing, except for instead of a black shirt tucked in, was yellow crop top with a poke ball on it. And she had her poke ball? Yeah.
Pokeball from Pokemon.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay.
And she had her hair tied kind of like Misty from Pokemon, but it was off. Like if you'd seen a commercial of Pokemon and then tried to go for that look. Only the man spoke, and he said he was interested in the music we were playing and was hoping they could come watch us. It was so unsettling the way he was talking. It was like forcing his words out, like he had just learned them. She did not speak. What made this so much weirder is that it was in the middle of August in Oklahoma. It was literally 115 degrees outside, and they were dressed like that. We declined, but he persisted and demanded that my roommate add him on Facebook, so we did. He made sure that he added him before even moving from the doorway. Finally, after a tense exchange of lying, saying that we had to work and everything under the sun to do except play for them, he finally took a step back. He looked at both of us up and down and said, "Okay, be seeing you." And him and the girl turned around at the same time and walked down the steps down our driveway. Does that sound like X? Our neighborhood is pretty our neighborhood is pretty small, and everyone kind of knows everyone, and I'd never seen them again in my life. The Facebook that my friend added had literally been made that day, like an hour before, and had nothing on it whatsoever. It's been almost like 10 years ago, and me and my friends are older now with families, but we still talk about that a lot. And we always found it coincidental that it happened to be right after we saw something crazy in the sky. Brian. I am going to say that paranoia from weed is a real thing.
Yeah, that was.
But you know, when people talk about Men in Black, which X is not a Man in Black.
No, he's already told us that
many, many times. But the Men in Black would want to find out if you were talking about whatever it was that you may have seen or told you not to talk about it, that sort of thing. That's what most of the stories seem to be in reference to. So who knows? knows? Maybe it was Modern Men in Black, and they were just seeing if you had posted on your Facebook or had gotten any videos, that sort of thing. And when they were quite sure you hadn't, they moved on from that.
That's
Also,
definitely
they
their.
may have smelled what was wafting out of the room and just thought anybody would think you were a paranoid weirdo.
That's definitely their MO. But or also they may have decided they wanted to join you and partake. So
That's true.
115 degrees in Oklahoma in a suit, though. That does strike
With
me
a
as
trench
odd.
coat? Yeah, no.
Yeah. Definitely odd, but yeah, again, drugs are powerful stuff. So it's hard to, again, thank you for reporting, but I understand that that affected the report. So I hate to say that, but it does.
But keep in mind too that you said you were right next to a military base. And one thing we do know, although we don't talk about it, is there are many experimental aircraft and stuff like that in different research projects, whether it's an aircraft or some other kind of thing. So maybe they were just checking if you saw something that you weren't supposed to see. Yeah. That's entirely possible. But as to it being X, I doubt it heavily.
Yeah. And 10 years ago would have been early drone stuff or mid drone stuff for them. Yeah. So, yeah. But
it's anyway, weird, though. It's weird. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, definitely an odd thing. So glad you reported.
I like being that stoned as well. I enjoy being that stoned.
I'm too much of a nerd. So, all right. All right. Well, let's see. This happened to my friend 3 or 4 summers back. This is what he told me, including all the details. He was depressed about his ex and was moping around and decided he wanted to go for a walk to get his mind off things around 1 a.m. He has a block or two from his neighborhood when he decides to take a shortcut through his townhouse neighborhood to avoid going beside a busy road with lots of cars. He said no one was outside and it was very quiet. As he cut in front of a house on the sidewalk, a figure starts to come into sight in front of the houses by the doorstep. He said it looked like a little girl playing on the ground. She was dressed in white and had very pale skin. He said what took him by surprise is how bright she looked in the dark, almost glowing, but not quite. As he moved past her to continue the shortcut, she stood up and he said she began to look like an old lady. Her face seemed to change age. She was looking at him as he was walking away from the house, and at this point he saw, and I quote, a black thing around her like a ball or a cloud. She was absolutely still and just looked at him as he was walking out of the neighborhood from a distance. He was extremely scared at this point, but started to calm down when an ordinary man, or maybe just a random car, I don't remember, was passing by. As he was leaving, he saw something fly above the ground from him by his face and fly upwards. He wasn't sure what it was, so he just went on. He went home and immediately woke up his mom and brother and told them. I was not friends with him at this time, so he didn't bring this story up until I met him. Here's the crazy part.
Oh my gosh. Here's the crazy part. I'm already like, nope. Burn the entire neighborhood down now.
All right.
Okay.
So here's the crazy part. I decided to Google ghost stories around the same area I live and came across someone who had an almost identical experience in the same area from a Facebook post. Detail, from the black object to the way the lady looked young and then old from different angles, the fact she was on the ground looking like she was playing before she stood up, the color of her skin and clothing, the object flying up in the ground. I believe the times of night were different, though. Of course, I thought this was just my friend playing a joke, or maybe it was him posting the story online himself. But when I asked him about it and showed him, he turned pale and looked terrified. He looked like he wanted to cry. Now, mind you, this is an 18-year-old guy at the time. He swore it wasn't him that posted the story. The reasons I believe him are, 1, the story was matched perfectly in detail, aside from some minor changes that suggest the person was somewhere else, but near the general area. 2, the look on his face looked genuinely freaked out, and he was on the verge of tears. And 3, his English at the time, and now sort of, was very poor, and his sentences aren't anywhere near as structured and complete as the person who wrote the story. He is a Spanish speaker, and back then it was difficult to really read his writing without stumbling over all the mistakes. I'll ask him when it exactly happened. Wanted to tell you, Jules.
Well, Jules, that sounds like a repeat.
Yeah, like a stone tape or something.
Like a stone tape, like a repeater thing that's happening.
Yeah, it sounds like it's definitely something to the area, might be attached to the land. And I like that it's young, then old. So it's someone's been there a long time.
Yeah.
And probably are still there. So that is my immediate
and especially when it's exactly the same, that's when I go, that sounds like a stone tape when it's exactly the same. Yeah. But Jules, tell us where it is so Mark can do his little and find out more details about it.
Do my Googling. And then and it's also sounds borderline Lady in White. So
borderline, but not quite.
It's more like the little girl in white. We got enough of those too. So
oh God, don't get me started. The little girl ghost, like cosplaying girl ghost. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hard pass. But what's funny is there's so many different spirits that look like either younger women, children, or older women, like people who need quote unquote help. But that's not what it seems like. This seems like it was repeating the same functions. That's why I said repeater ghost. I know it's terrifying, but it sounds like a repeater ghost.
Maiden Mother Crone. Maiden Mother Crone.
Okay. We're not talking about the fates now, Mark. Jules, thank you, my friend, for sharing that with us. It is appreciated. And tell your friend thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Also burn that entire neighborhood down. Just kidding. Don't do that. That's illegal.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Mark and Erika.
Hey.
I'm so glad you did a recent episode about the Bigfoot movie might have been fake all along. It didn't fit like anything I saw. Plus, my grandfather described it different as well. My grandfather wouldn't talk much about his experiences growing up in the foothills of the Appalachia in Tennessee. What he would say to my grandmother is that he knew they were very real and never let your guard down. He said they'd shadow him from the ridgeline in the trees as he was walking to high school from his home in the hills. He was a 6'4", 300-pound bear of a man too, and it made him feel intense fear. Black bears, he said he was wary of, but he didn't fear them. Even doing 2 full tours in Vietnam didn't put the fear like a Sasquatch did. Well, thank him for his service.
Yeah.
First time I ever encountered one was when I was young. We were down at his family's home in the Appalachians visiting the family. He liked to take me hiking and we'd look for animal tracks down by the creek beds and streams. Occasionally we'd see bear tracks, which is one of the coolest things ever if you're 6. I agree with that.
Agreed.
Yeah. When we had our encounter, my grandfather was the one who noticed it. I was too occupied with my immediate environment, but I did notice that the birds had stopped singing and it got noticeably quiet. Right as I was looking to the opposite side of the creek, I noticed something dark in the dense foliage, standing next to one of the bigger trees. Immediately, my grandfather took me by the shoulders and guided me gently back up the path while he kept a firm lookout. I had never seen that look of fear and stony tension on his face before. My grandfather had gotten a good look at it, seen it just standing there. He told my grandmother later that night that we'd seen what we'd seen in the deeper part of the woods after I'd been put to bed. How it had been more focused on watching me. He swore that if he had taken his eyes off me for just a moment, it would have taken me. There wouldn't have been a damn thing he could have done about it. We never went back to the spot in the deeper woods. He never let me go anywhere without being in his sight. Howard, that makes sense. You know what's interesting is there's more and more coming out about Sasquatch versus Bigfoot, and that, you know, we call it Bigfoot because of the footprints everybody said they saw, which we talked about on our episode. But I believe there are definitely things out there, and that sounds terrifying. And if your grandfather at 6'4", 300 pounds was that scared of something in the woods like that, I follow his lead, my friend. Follow his lead.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That sounds like you saw something that was, again, I agree that it doesn't sound like Patterson Gimlin most sightings don't. And that's why I'm glad we're moving on from that and moving into this next era where the people who have seen weird stuff can talk about it. And again, Sasquatch, to the Cherokee, to the others, it's a spirit that guides them and lives with them and works with them. And it is not a monkey in the woods.
No, it's true, but it kind of makes me wonder what the grandfather actually saw. And was it Sasquatch or was it like a dog man? Because the idea that it would steal a child seems more predatory than I know. But if the grandfather felt that way, I just go, that's a little different than normally what people have talked about. But who the heck knows?
Who the heck knows? And again, that scares us. That the unknown scares us, and that's why he was afraid. So, all right. Well, thanks, Howard. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
I am a huge fan. Yay. I don't have anything dramatic to share, but I think I've realized that I've had several glitchy things happen to me over the years. I don't remember how many glitches I have encountered in my life. Some have been visions or dreams, maybe my subconscious telling me something I didn't catch while awake. A little bit about me. I'm a 29-year-old Mexican, and I now live in Vancouver, British Columbia. Okay, here I go. Okay. All right. First mini glitch or vision that I remember was when I was around 7 or 8 years old. I was living in Mexico, and me and my neighbors were playing soccer on the street. We used to do that when it wasn't dangerous. It was about to get dark when we saw two weird lights in the sky chasing each other. All my friends and I saw them when we looked at each other, and we freaked out and fled to our homes. Obviously, my parents told me I was being dumb, and we never spoke about it. I know it could be a lot of things, but it was around 1995, and my city didn't have a big airport at the time, Morelia, Michoacan. So I don't know. Second, we saw some weird things again. Second vision, I was around 15 years old. We were camping with my high school group at the top of Mount Paracutin. We were lying down on the grass, and it was around 11 p.m. I was with my best friends at the time. We were watching the stars. There were so many and so bright. When I freaking kid you not, they freaking started moving in weird patterns. I looked at my friends and asked them, "Are you watching this? Is it me?" And they clearly were watching it because we all felt really scared. Okay, I admit it. There was alcohol involved in that trip, but I didn't drink at the time. I have tried to speak to my friends about the incident, but none of them seem to recall it, with the excuse that they were drunk or that they don't remember. I mean, my whole high school class was there, about 25 people maybe. I don't remember what I did after that. I think I just went to bed afraid. I just remember they moved in a weird pattern like an S. This has been the most terrifying thing I experienced in my life so far. Wow.
That would be terrifying.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep. Third glitch, I was dreaming that my girlfriend at the time was involved in a car crash. I was sleeping with my girlfriend at the time, about 18 to 19 years old, when I woke up crying about 4 to 5 a.m. about her being in a car crash. She was beside me, so she calmed me down, saying it was just a dream, and yes, it was. Later that afternoon, it was raining a lot. She was driving to university when, yes, she crashed. Nothing bad happened besides some vehicle damage, but still, that dream was really vivid, like I was there watching the accident. It's a memory. It's more like a memory, not like a dream.
Oh, that is bizarre.
Yep. It goes by hand with my fourth mini glitch. It involves the same girlfriend. This time, it's last year university, so I'm 22. It's the last day. I know I'll be graduating soon, so I do whatever a person in my position after 5 finals would do. Yeah, I went to sleep. So I had this freaking vivid dream about my girlfriend at the time having sex with my friend. This dream is, again, so vivid. I'm in the room. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they are having sex. I can hear them. I can feel the heat of their bodies, even smell them. It was disgusting. I woke up about 6 p.m. I'd gone to bed like 3 p.m. It was a long nap. And she was there chatting on her computer. So I tell her about the dream, and she tells me basically I'm being silly for my behavior. I did ask her after I woke up, "Are you having sex with X?" Hey, X.
Not XX.
Yeah, all right. Well, who knows? All right, so she felt offended and didn't speak to me for a while. I was okay, played video games, and then she went out with her girlfriend. Liar. My curiosity was big, so I did open her messenger and read all the lovely full sex loving messages between her and X. I confronted her, blah, blah, blah. We broke up, etc., etc. Again, the stream is a memory. I can even remember the bedding colors, etc. Wow. Yeah. All right.
That is amazing. That is a really cool ability to have, not on those topics, but it's a cool ability.
Yeah, definitely. And last glitch. So in 2021 had been the worst year for me for a lot of.
No, you've got to go to the fifth glitch.
Oh, fifth glitch. Several encounters with a man with a mustache in Vancouver. Sorry, I missed that one. So I moved to Vancouver around 2008, and around 2009, I started seeing this guy everywhere. He's around 50 years old. I mean, he looks like any normal person. He just has a normal looking mustache, which is the only remarkable thing about him in my memory. Nothing particularly weird about him, but I start running him into him in a lot of places. The SkyTrain, the Canada Line, several malls, even the bus. And it's not like I was on the same route every day or at the same time. He was just there, wherever I was. So I think, and I just got a chill in my spine while writing this, it's not really scary at all, though. He notices that too and starts waving at me. So I wave back. This happens like 5 more times randomly. One day when I'm going to work by bus, he walks in, sits right next to me. He says hi and tells me he is a car dealer, and we do small talk. When suddenly he makes an angry remark to the bus driver and says, "I'm so sorry. I'm watching lights today in my head with a really bad headache, so I'm upset." So I tell him, "You suffer migraines?" "I know, because I've been suffering from minor migraines since I was 16. And he says, "Migraine? I don't know. This is the first time it happened to me." So I describe my experience, and he agrees on that's exactly how it feels, seeing an aura before having a really bad pulsating headache. I feel that I tell him I recommend him see a doctor so he can give him migraine medicine like Real Packs or whatever medicine to help relieve his migraine. He says, "Thank you," and then gets off on the next stop. I never saw him again. Today, listening to you all made me remember him, and that was the last time after that conversation that I ever had a migraine. So
what?
Nice.
Wow.
Glad I didn't skip that. All right. And last glitch. So in 2021 had been the worst year for me for a lot of circumstances. After a lot of work, family, money issues, I developed this fear to die of brain cancer or an aneurysm or thrombosis or whatever. Something is happening in my head. I was sure of it. I got freaked out. I went to the neurologist because I'd been having these bad headaches for a while now. Nothing is found. So I'm glad. I'm still edgy for a lot of shit going on at the time. So I developed severe anxiety for about 6 months. And I felt death was near, outbursts of crying, waking up scared in the middle of the night. My wife is concerned. I feel like something is going to happen, but nothing does. And then this started around April 2022. I started taking clonazepam to calm down. This goes on until February 2023. Bought tickets to go visit my friends and family to Mexico with my wife because Semana Santa is close. That's a holiday for Mexicans, so I can spend time with most of them. With 2 days prior leaving, I get a call from my aunt. My dad had suffered a brain thrombosis, and I felt really worried and sad. So we went to Mexico, and he is still living. He can't move his right side of his body really well, but he is alive and better now. After that, I don't feel the fear of something happening to my head anymore. The point is, did I attract that? Did I know something like that was about to happen?
Jorge, it seems to me like you have premonitions.
Yes.
And it seems to me you probably have some kind of ability, non-documented, but it's obviously premonitions.
Yeah.
So of some kind, and not exactly premonitions. It's more like you become aware of something before it becomes physically known. So
I think remote viewing.
Yeah, remote viewing. I think that's absolutely a gift, Jorge. There are others that can do it, but I would look into that further. I think it's amazing. But spotting it is probably
the tricky
maybe
part.
Trying to get to the bottom of it more quickly is a good idea, because
people try their lives to learn how to lucid dream because it can affect things like this. And I think that's what you're doing. And I'm glad you're not suffering migraines anymore. Migraines aren't fun, but maybe they were the key to this. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Jorge, thank you for telling us all that. That's amazing. I hope the guy who you talked to got cured for his migraine, but I think he might have been something a little off as well. So
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That it's truly amazing, Jorge. I would be proud of that. But I would think when something starts happening that's out of the ordinary, maybe take a little bit of a more analytical look at, is it your thing or somebody else's thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh.
Yeah. Creepy. Okay.
All
Cool.
right. Thanks, RA.
Yeah.
Thanks. We
Thank
only got
you,
a few
Jorge.
left, Erica. So let's blitz through. So,
Okay. I'm blitzing. Okay. In 1992, I was driving to work with my wife. She would take the car once I got to work in Poinciana, Florida. Is that right? Did I say that
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It's 6:30 in the morning. On the left, about 100 feet from the road, was the woods. Those woods extended for miles. On the right, about 50 feet from the road, was also wooded, but those woods only extended about a half a mile. From the left, So from the left, about 100 foot was woods that extended for miles. On the right, there was only 50 feet of woods. Okay, got it. From the left, a bipedal, hair-covered creature came out of the woods, and loped across the road, and went directly into the woods on the right without missing a beat. It was 7 feet tall with dark hair. There weren't any cars on the side of the road, nor people, except for the few cars that were driving down the 2-lane road. My wife and I were like, WTF is that? We were truly shaken. It wasn't a bear. Nobody can tell me Bigfoot doesn't exist because I saw one with my own eyes. Scott. Welcome to skunk egg territory, Scott.
Yep.
It's something. I think the theory is it doesn't just look like an ape man, like a lot of people said it's a bipedal gorilla. Definitely looks like something, and it's scary, but I love that it was just like, sup, walk across the road.
Yeah, just walk across the road. Did he look both ways before crossing the street? That's my concern. But yeah, it's Poinciana is an area known for sightings. It's also a bear area. It's also other animals area. But yeah, thank you for reporting. I'm sure we'll get that I already put that on the BFRO database, so I'll admit that.
No, creepy McCreepy, and Scott, something does exist. It really does. Okay, Mark, this starts with you anyway.
Oh yeah, Mark. Hey, I just heard you on Beasts of Britain. Oh, thank you. I do love being on that show. It says, I wish you were on more often. Heck yeah, I agree. Tell them that. Don't write me. Tell them. All right. I simply had to email you that my mother and stepfather saw an actual ghost car. Oh, I'm in. They were driving.
Tell me where it is so I don't go there. No.
They were driving home after visiting friends. In the UK, the back lanes are really narrow and winding, only often wide enough for one car. Not only that, but the lane they were driving on was very level land with a river on one side and a ditch on the other, each with high banks. It was dark and raining very heavily. Suddenly in front of them, a car appeared. It was really old-fashioned, like it was an interwar Rolls-Royce silver ghost type car. Oh, I love those. My stepfather slammed on their brakes, but there was no way they could have avoided hitting it. Nowhere to turn either side, and it was right in front of them. Nothing happened. No crash. They got out of the car, and there was nothing there. They had both seen the same thing. Hope to meet you sometime if you come to the UK. I'll make you a great fish and chips, and you can stay in our haunted inn in town. Stacy.
Oh, Stacy, that's nice of you to invite Mark, but I will. He can stay in the haunted inn. I will stay in the not haunted inn, but I do want the fish and chips.
Yeah, agreed. We will all have fish and chips. I talked about it on a recent appearance that it was the one food I miss truly having good fish and chips. There are some pubs around here that do okay, but I miss the good stuff
Oh, me too. Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you, Stacy. And as soon as we can go on our international travels, we will. I'm more likely to be over there soon than Mark, but I can bring a picture of him if you bring me fish and chips.
I've healed up and can fly again, so maybe. So
maybe. Okay. Last one, Mark. Here we go. Hi, Eerie Travels team. Hello.
Hi.
I wanted to share something that happened to a friend of mine this week. It was something so bizarre that I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. They asked me to pass it along to you because they also listened to your show and thought you'd appreciate how strange this encounter was. I already don't like any of this, and I haven't read past it. So here we go. A few nights after their recent UFO sighting, they said they were visited what they can only describe. What? Where? Okay. They had a recent. Did they have many UFO sightings? Like, I feel like I'm missing the beginning part of this story. Okay. A few nights after their recent UFO sighting, they said they were visited what they can only describe as a man in black agent. Except this one looked almost exactly like Nicolas Cage. That's pretty cool. Not just in the face, but in the mannerisms, the voice cadence, even the way he stood, like he was posing for a movie poster. According to them, the man showed up at their door wearing a perfectly pressed black suit that didn't seem to wrinkle even when he moved. His skin looked oddly smooth, like someone had airbrushed him in real life. They said his eyes didn't blink normally. Instead of a quick blink, it was a slow, deliberate close and open, like he was practicing being human. He told them in a calm and very unsettling, cheerful tone that shouldn't dwell too much on what they saw in the sky and that curiosity can be a dangerous hobby. Then he smiled. They said that it was wide, too many teeth kind of smile, and he added, "Some stories aren't meant to be told, at least not yet. Besides, it was probably just drones." I feel like drones is our latest weather balloon.
I think so, yeah.
Before leaving, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card. But when my friend looked down at it, the card was completely blank. When they looked back up, the man was already halfway down the driveway, moving faster than someone should be able to walk. The weirdest part is my friend swears the air smelled like ozone and the card had vanished. They were still shaken up, and honestly, I don't blame them. My friend says he's seen Con Air like 18 times. So have I. I love Con Air. Steve Buscemi in Con Air is one of my favorites. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And knows it wasn't some impersonator. It was Nick Cage. If you think this would make a great segment on your show, feel free to use it. Maybe somebody else has had a celebrity Men in Black story. Thanks for all the eerie work you do. A listener. I love that it was Nicolas Cage. This is creepy as hell, but I love that it's Nick Cage, and it sounds like it's like cool old school Nick Cage and not Redfield vampire Nick Cage.
I think it could be Nick Cage promoting Spider-Man Noir. This sounds like he would just show up at people's houses and do it person by person, because that's the kind of thing he would do.
That sounds like a very expensive campaign, but listener, that is a fantastic story. I need the first paragraph clarified, however. The one that involved a few nights after their recent UFO sighting. I feel like there is what I would refer to as a plethora of story that comes before that I would like imbued onto my presence. So please send that in.
Or it could have just been that they had just had a recent UFO sighting, and so they were visited. That one's a tough one to read.
After their recent UFO sighting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm using the grammar they have provided me, Mark.
Yeah, and I do love that they immediately went Men in Black, and that he said the stuff that does sound like Men in Black. I do like the idea that he doesn't blink normally, that it was a slow, like he was forcing himself to close and open his eyes. I like that, like he was practicing to be human.
No, they say that about the Twilight vampires as well, Stacey Brown.
No, yeah. I think they say that about Nicolas Cage too.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick Cage, if you want to come on the show and talk to us and tell us if you're Men in Black, well, we'd
or don't even tell us you're a Man in Black. Just come on the show. That would be cool. Cool.
We'll talk Con Air. Erika's seen it 18 times. I think I've seen it once.
I've seen it a lot of times because it's one of those movies when it comes on. I like rewatching movies like you do. Yep. It's one of those movies that when it comes on, I like to watch it because Steve Buscemi's character in it is kind of amazing. And then they completely destroy the Vegas Strip. Yeah. It reminds me, every time I see movies like that, it reminds me of Hancock, where he destroys things and then they send him bills because you're like, great, this plane full of ex-cons that need to be safely landed. Well, actually, how about instead we let it crash in the desert because,
Yeah.
But no, we let it destroy an entire Vegas Strip.
Yep. Well, I used to get it and The Rock confused, the movie, not the actor. So
I love
right.
that movie too. That's a watcher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, give me Sean Connery as James Bond in prison any day. So anyway, wow, travelers, we made it to the end. Thank you.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Thank you for filling the inbox. I need more.
yes.
I have to say, I wasn't nearly as terrified this round. So you guys out there can do better.
Oh, wow. You're calling for it?
Gauntlet thrown. It's been a while.
Oh, geez. All right. You heard him, folks. You heard it. She wants the good stuff. So if you've been storing your terrifying tale, now's the time. Ooh.
Yeah, don't hold out on me.
Yep. All right. And with that, we're wrapping it up. Thank you, Patreon folks. And like I said, throw $1 our way. You can join the Discord. We have a lot of fun chat going on there about weird stuff. And also, we've been recently sharing our Erika's Eats type places and also what we're making. So with the Erika's Eats at home stuff. So,
yeah, Erika's Eats at home. And I need Jake to send me some of that pie. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. And we're taking snack suggestions for the next road trip. So
yes, I love snack suggestions.
We got to fill up the Wayback Machine with wonderful snacks. So
yes.
All right, Erika, any last words before I take us out?
No, other than send me this story that involves the latest UFO sighting. That's all I'm going to say. So go for it.
All right. So travelers, when you're out there driving along the road and you see that strange thing on the side of the road, or you see the weird lights in the sky, or the stars start moving in unusual ways, or you just see that little girl who stands up and suddenly is a lot older than you thought and fades away in a dark ball. Well, remember to document it, send it in to Eerie Travels. Please keep yourself safe. Never travel alone. And if you see Nick Cage, tell him we said hi, and we'll see you on the other side.